No, shit. Hey everyone, it's Rowan, and we've had a change of scenery today. We're in a kitchen. That's because I'm doing in this video exactly what the title says. We are baking a rainbow cake and answering some gay questions. I'm doing this video to celebrate reaching 100,000 subscribers. So I just want to say at the beginning, thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed, who watches my videos and enjoys them. It means the world to me. YouTube has allowed me to do so many amazing things, opportunities, so many incredible friendships. So thank you very much. If for some reason you've found this video and clicked on it and aren't subscribed, kind of sorry to disappoint. Normally we don't make cakes on this channel or answer questions, but it is very gay, so I guess 1 out of 3 isn't too bad. So first things first, I have a confession to make. I have not made a rainbow cake before. I know, absolute blasphemy. Take me to gay jail. It is the first thing on the gay agenda. I have yet to tick it off, but we're going to be doing it today. But it does mean that I have no idea how this is going to turn out. This is a recipe I've never used before. So we're just going to embrace the baking chaos and see where it takes us. So first things first, we're measuring out ingredients. While I do so, I have a very quick and fun announcement for everyone. Some of you may know every year I co-host a creative retreat with the amazing Krish. We'll put a photo here so you can bask in the glory. And normally it is, you know, residential, in person, in the countryside. But this year it had to be cancelled because we know 2020, what is an in-person event anymore? But we are actually doing an online event in its place. It is a novel writing course, so if you're an aspiring writer, novelist, then I will leave a link in the description for you to check it all out. It's basically 5 days, but you don't have to do the full 5 days. You can just do one day that suits you, and it goes all the way from the first day, which is to do with like inspiration and planning and structure, all the way to the last one, which is about having a manuscript and a query letter and choosing which agents to approach. So yeah, it's gonna be really cool. There's some amazing authors who are going to be part of it, people in the publishing industry, agents, editors, stuff like that. Lots of super interactive workshops with a Discord that you can join to chat with other writers, get feedback on your stuff. It's gonna be great. So yeah, if that seems up your street or up someone you know's street, check it out in the description. Cool. Hope to see some of you there. Right, let's get some questions. So first question is from Lizzie_who asks, how do I feel queer enough? So this is it's a great question, but it's maybe a complicated question because so many people will maybe not feel queer enough for different reasons, and you could kind of give a different answer to every single person. So some common things that I've heard from people are like, you aren't out, for example. So you feel like even though you are queer in your identity, the fact that other people don't know about it means that you aren't queer enough. Totally untrue. There are so many reasons why people might not be out. It might be to do with safety, comfort, you know, anything like that. You absolutely are queer enough even if no one else knows except yourself. There's also, I know some friends who are women who are bisexual, who figured out they were bisexual after they like got into a long-term, very committed, loving relationship with a man. And they kind of feel like because they've not had those experiences, and this is true for some like people who are gay and have not had actual, you know, romantic or sexual experiences with people of the same gender, they kind of feel like, oh, I haven't done something that I can't be queer enough. Again, it's not about what you've done, it's about you and how you feel and your own identity. The general theme of this answer is like, if you identify as queer, if you feel like you are queer enough. The same as you are gay enough if you identify as gay, or bi enough if you identify as bi. You know, that's something that you get to decide for yourself and no one else can tell you or not. Just a quick aside before we go on, I'm making this a pumpkin spice rainbow cake because I'm very basic, and also vanilla's a boring cake flavour, which is why I'm adding all these mysterious brown powders. So next question, Kaylee asks, what labels do I use and how did I figure out I was those labels, and that was what I wanted to call myself. So if I'm just referring to my sexuality in general, I will say that I am queer. And I might say, if I'm being more specific, like queer / lesbian / asexual. I wouldn't call myself just asexual because I feel like the lesbian part of my identity is much more important to me, and that the kind of queer I feel like is a good catch-all for me to cover different aspects of the identity. I knew I was a lesbian when I was younger. I've done like videos on this channel before about my coming out story, but that was the first thing I came to, and the asexual thing came later. I actually was looking at my emails, and I do that thing, I don't know if anyone's done it, I think it's like futureme.org, where you can send an email which will arrive in your inbox in a year's time to yourself. And so I definitely knew I was asexual in 2013, 15 or 16 because I sent myself an email that was like, hey, this is a thing you figured out. And I didn't actually realise it was that long ago. In my head, it was more recent. In terms of figuring out what labels fit me, sometimes it's just like a feeling thing. It's like a gut feeling of like, oh, yes, this word. Other times you might want to look at, obviously, like the definitions of the words, but also people's lived experiences, how they feel, what they think about themselves, how they think about themselves, and how that word links to that can be super, super useful because there's so many different words and identities within the LGBTQ plus community, and I think for a lot of people, like finding the very specific word that suits them is really powerful. So yeah, looking at different YouTubers and watching their videos, books is an amazing resource, obviously, blog posts, things like that, and just reading people's first-hand accounts of like how they feel about their identity, and that might kind of click with you as well. Next question comes from Tiger Lily H. Advice for people who regret coming out or have been outed. So fun fact, I was in a weird situation when I was younger because I wasn't outed because I didn't know I was gay at that point, but people at my school assumed I was a lesbian, and so I was treated as if I had been outed. And that was actually really tough because I was trying to figure out myself, and when you're trying to figure out how you identify and you have other people telling you how you identify, both in terms of like the world assuming that you must be straight because they assume everyone has to be straight, and also some specific people within your social circle at school, you know, students and teachers as well, making that assumption, it can be really tough. And big sympathy to you if you are currently struggling through that. I think that this is the same as a lot of advice that I give around queer stuff, which is like find your family, like find your people. And that can be like people at your school or a local youth group. You know, it can be online as well. Absolutely, like some of my most incredible friends that I know I met through online stuff. Like finding people who are going to be supportive of that in you is so, so important. I will say if you are really struggling with this, there are so many LGBTQ plus supportive or like actual LGBTQ plus therapists or counsellors online and potentially in your local area. So if you are struggling, if you are finding it difficult, having someone who's non-judgmental to talk to, you don't necessarily have to find, you know, a friend to talk to. You can talk to a professional, and that can be super useful if you are able to afford it, or if that is possible within where you live. So let's do another question before I mix this concoction up. This is from Why Gold, Why Not Silver? Incredible username. How do I know that I'm a lesbian if I have not done anything with a girl or a guy? Okay, let's get into this. Okay, where to start? Okay, so potentially there can be a difference between how you feel, what you do, and how you identify, right? So those things don't always perfectly line up, and when you're first working out who you are, those things will often like be different. So you can feel and think about women in a sexual way, in a romantic way, but you have not done anything with them yet, and you can still identify as a lesbian. Like those things don't have to match up. There's also something interesting to think about is the fact that there are many ways to be attracted to people. It might be romantic and emotional, it might be sexual, it might be sensual, and those are all totally valid. Things that might clue you in to how you're feeling, God, they're so varied, and they differ from person to person. Some people it might be like fantasies, whether sexual or romantic fantasies, thinking about their future, like who they see themselves with in the future, feeling drawn to particular people, feeling like imagining what it might be like to kiss someone, feeling butterflies in your stomach, having a crush on someone. Like there's so many ways, and like not everyone has all of those. There's a lot of stories that are like, I knew I was gay when I was 3 years old, and that's useful for some people, but also maybe unhelpful for others who are finding it a bit more difficult to figure out exactly how they feel, especially because we live in a society that is so heteronormative. So the idea is like you're assumed to be straight from the beginning, and if you kind of have to break out of that to work out whether what you're feeling is valid. So I get it, it can be complicated, but you can figure it out. Another question, the same question got asked by two different people. One was ash.nb and one was Erin in YYC. And that was, where do I want to visit / you know, top destinations in the world? And I felt like answering this, it's not strictly a gay question, but You know, we're living in 2020 and you know, none of us can travel anywhere. So I'm like, where am I dreaming of traveling right now? Okay, so here's my current holiday lockdown fantasy. A villa holiday with friends in Italy. We just, you know, you rent a villa, you like split the cost across everyone. It's all chilling by the pool, going to see some nice art, eating a lot of good food, just relaxing somewhere sunny with friends. Being able to hug your friends, that's my fantasy. Anywhere in the world, my fancy holiday is anywhere in the world where I get to hug my friends. So next question is from Ialba, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. What do you think about JK Rowling-gate? So just in case there's more JK Rowling-gates after I film this video and you're watching in the future and don't know what I'm referring to, I'm assuming this is referring to JK Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, being anti-trans, being trans exclusionary. I would hope that people aren't asking this question because you're like, are you like, what do you think about trans people? I think we all know from my content on this channel and elsewhere on the internet and my life, this is a trans inclusionary space. We are not transphobic here and we do not allow it. So my thoughts are just like, wow and yikes. And also, in a less flippant response, I think it's pretty indicative of a wider situation, issue, which is very apparent, especially in the UK media and kind of climate of transphobia, which I think is complicated and has a lot of different elements to it, and there's probably amazing trans journalists who have done way better job of explaining it than me. So if you're interested in knowing about like why is Britain so transphobic right now, go and search them out. But it has a lot to do with, you know, prominent second wave feminist academics within the establishment who are continuing to be trans exclusionary, even though that is not a requisite of second wave feminism, and the power that they have in the media and in academia. Misinformation as well, like a complete moral panic around children that doesn't make any sense or need to be there. Just, the whole thing is horrible and awful, and yes, that is my hot take on the JK Rowling-gate. It's the worst. Next question, 3 different people asked some variety of this question. Basically, what is the video of mine that I like the best? So, confession, I don't rewatch my videos. Maybe I should do, because maybe they'll be good, but I just always feel like I'm gonna watch them and be like, oh, this could have been better, this isn't good, I messed up. But I did that whole series I did about like the future of mainstream queer cinema. I really loved because of that like graph that I designed. It felt like a new piece of like queer cinema criticism that I brought into the world. Also the idea of queer baiting and queer coding. The video I did on that where I came up with the term queer catching. Again, just like things like that where I'm like, oh, I haven't just like summarized something or given my opinion, I've like added to the world of queer criticism in some way, even if not officially, because it's not like published in a paper and all that jazz, but just like feeling that contribution. I'm kind of, yeah, super proud of those ones. Question from sincerely.jazzy, advice for baby gay, question mark. So I think that the answers to a lot of my questions previously that go into like advice for difficult circumstances hopefully will be good advice for baby gays. But I also just want to say, like, I know I am definitely coming from a position of privilege in terms of like the fact I live in the UK. Legally we have like equal rights, even if there is homophobia within society itself, and so I don't want to, you know, say that it's amazing for gay people everywhere, but like there is so much joy in being gay. There really is. In the friendships in the community, in the relationships, in the history and the culture, you know, there is so much to celebrate and be proud of, and like that is a thing I think that we often don't focus on when we're talking to young queer people. It's a lot about like how difficult it must be and bullying and it gets better and all this kind of stuff, which feels like it's really concentrating on the negative, but like honestly it's good. It's a good thing. It's a wonderful thing. It's a joyous thing. All around the world, in every country, there are gay people, and we've seen, like, even in the last few years, there are some countries that are having like their first Pride parade. There are these pockets of community, like everywhere in the world, of people supporting each other and helping each other and feeling the same way as each other and taking comfort and joy in that similarity in that family. And that's really, can be really, really beautiful. as well as all of the difficult stuff you might be going through, that's something to remember and to think about, that like everyone, all the queer family around the world, there are people, even if you might be sat in your bedroom and worried and scared, like who love you and support you and want you to be okay and think that you are amazing and wonderful and beautiful just the way you are. Okay, so we've done the first lot of colours, so by the magic of YouTube, this is going to turn into cake pans in a second. Ta-da! So while we wait for the oven to heat up, let's go with another question. This is from Isa Aoife, and it is, what is my favourite musical? Very gay question, because musicals inherently, obviously, extremely gay, but also all my favourite musicals are very gay. So probably my favourite of all time is La Cage aux Folles. I don't know what it is about that musical, a lot of people haven't even heard of it. It is amazing. It is based on the same French play that the Robin Williams movie The Birdcage is based on, but I think it is much better than The Birdcage. It's much gayer, much queerer than The Birdcage, I think, in the way that it handles some of its plot lines. It's basically about a gay couple who own a nightclub. One of them is kind of like the owner and the other is the star drag queen, and they've been raising a son together from one of their previous relationship, and the son basically comes home at the start of the musical and is like, I have met the love of my life, I want to marry her, but before her parents will allow her to get married, they have to meet my parents. And it's like a kind of comedy of errors and people in drag, people in disguise, misunderstandings, classic stuff, but with like multiple queer love songs in it. It's beautiful. I've seen it probably more than any, well yeah, I've definitely seen it more than any other musical live. I adored it, so can highly recommend. We're back. We have all the layers here. I have my frosting that I made in the meantime. It's chocolate, as per my father's request, who is tragically a heterosexual, but we won't hold it against him. And just gonna layer it. And while I'm layering, I'm going to answer this question, which actually came from like a few different people. So if this was you, thank you for the question. Are there any LGBT YouTubers that you can recommend? Yes, of course. I have my subscription feed next to me, so I'm just going to lean back and have a look at who I can recommend. Oh, Fictional Fates, Joel. So if you're into bookish content, Joel is amazing. Such charisma, such personality, such fun videos. Definitely recommend. I'm going to leave like links to all of these people in the description to make it easier. Who else? Gemma has been doing some amazing videos recently. She just did 2 videos around how like Merlin should have come out in the BBC show Merlin, which was incredible because not only did she sort of explain how he should have come out, she fully scripted an entire episode of that show and like table read it out for us. The Queer Kiwi has just blown up on YouTube in the last couple of weeks even. Really just like fun, chatty videos around super gay stuff, a lot of looking and reacting to like TikToks and all that kind of stuff. If you're just looking for something fun to watch, can recommend. In terms of some like people I've been subscribed to for a while, obviously you've got like Cat Black and ContraPoints Natalie, both amazing channels, and more of the kind of serious topic-led discussions or like video essay type stuff. Always really enjoy when they post. Has his own channel and then also does the Sly Guys podcast, which I've done an episode of, which was about like, is there a gay gene? It was very fun to chat about. His stuff's amazing. He did a really cool video recently that was about like a defense of Taylor Swift and like the ways in which sexism play into criticism of female artists in a way that they don't necessarily for men. Okay, let's go for another question while I am frosting. And try and multitask. We'll see how well that goes. I don't know if that's gonna be possible. So a few people actually asked about my educational background. I assume because I do sort of, I guess like educational content. So my undergraduate was in English literature, and then my master's degree was in advanced theatre practice at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, which is a very fancy way of saying I did a degree and then I never did a play afterwards. I never did anything in the theatre after I got that degree. This is, I mean, knock on wood, but this is going surprisingly well. So user Costanza Palastri asked, what do I think about parasocial relationships? big question. For those who have not heard about parasocial relationships before, they are essentially, as far as I understand them, the sort of relationship that happens between like a creator online or someone online and their audience or their viewers. Specifically the idea that, you know, a creator is having a connection to like however many people are in their audience, whereas the people in the audience only see like a one-on-one connection, and that can sometimes lead to people in an audience feeling like they know the creator. Oftentimes it can manifest itself in feeling kind of entitled to that creator in some way, feeling like they are friends with that creator. I mean, if anyone's listened to Bo Burnham's stuff, who is a comedian who essentially talks a lot about parasocial relationships, although I don't think he calls it that in his sets, but the idea of like, you don't actually know me. So you can scream, you can heckle him in a show and say, I love you, Bo, but he's like, you don't know me. You love the idea of me, you love the concept of me that I've put forward as entertainment, but you don't actually know me. But I do understand how this sort of parasocial relationship thing can happen more frequently with LGBT creators, because oftentimes you might have someone who is watching the creator who doesn't have anyone that they can open up to in real life, who sees someone living a life that they want to be living, someone that they would want to be friends with, someone who might understand them. And that can be really powerful. So I do understand how it happens, but I think it's something that everyone just has to be like mindful of and treat everyone like a person with their own, you know, story and thoughts and lives. I think that's probably the healthy way of going about it. Okay, in the end we just had enough icing. I bought some rainbow sprinkles because, you know, it's a rainbow cake inside. We want to show that off outside, so I'm going to put them on in an attempt at an artistic way. We'll see how this goes. And while I do this, I'm going to answer a question from Emily Alex, who asks, where do I find other gay people? Excellent question. So, hang on, let's just... Nope. I think I'm going to have to cup and press, I guess. Yeah, that's slightly better. So, places you might find gay people. Online. So you might want to go and have a look at some Discord servers, or if you are still on Facebook, Facebook groups are actually really great for this kind of stuff. Offline, in your local area or in your city, you might find people at LGBTQ+ cafes or bookshops, libraries even, depending on where you live. There might also be obviously like clubs and bars, or if you live in a city, there may well be a gay district of some kind. If you're at university or school, there might be an LGBT society. If there isn't one and you're feeling confident, brave, you could always try and start one if that's something that you feel like your school will be amenable to. And even if they're not, if you want to be real ballsy, just try and start one anyway, even if you think they won't like it. Ultimately, the gay people are everywhere. We're everywhere where straight people are, it turns out. But sometimes it's a bit harder to find us because we don't necessarily have a sign. Although, having said that, Pride is another great place where people will have signs, and you can definitely meet people there. Okay, it's done. At last. I need to eat something that isn't cake batter because I feel like I've got a bit of a sugar high. Moment of truth. Oh God, I'm so nervous. What if it's bad, you guys? Well, it cut down, so that's a good sign. Let's do a well-sized slice. Why not? A 3 Malteser slice. I need something to put it on. Hang on. Please work. Please work. Oh! Oh yes! You guys, it's so good! You guys, I did not think it was gonna look this good. But someone also asked me, actually a few people asked me what my favourite cake flavour was. Let's give this a try and see. Oh man, that's so good. A pumpkin spice rainbow cake with chocolate frosting. It's high on the list. If you're vegan, I can recommend Nigella's Accidentally Vegan chocolate cake. It is absolutely incredible. That cake was more of a success than I thought it was going to be, which, if that's not a metaphor for this YouTube channel, I don't know what it is. Also, I like unboxed it on TikTok rather than YouTube, and Jazza is really annoyed at me about it. But yes, I got the old play button thing to say that I have 100k subscribers. It's very cool. I don't know where to put it. Yeah, we'll work it out. So yeah, thanks again to everyone who subscribed and watches my videos. I hope you're having a lovely, whatever day it is that you're watching this, and that this was maybe some of the answers to these questions were useful and or interesting, or me panicking while I made a cake that turned out pretty good was entertaining in some way. In terms of what's coming up soon on the channel, I am committing to this. I have a horror-based video I'm gonna put out for Halloween, before Halloween if I can. Yes, I'm committing to it. Before Halloween, we will have this Halloween video. It's about gender and horror. I'm really excited about it. I've been working on it for a long time. And then other stuff, the Black Sails video, potentially one about Bly Manor and the queer, like, fear and horror in Bly Manor would be kind of interesting. Maybe one about In Defense of Fangirls, the queer superhero video. Lots of stuff going on. If you have any other thoughts and videos you'd like me to do, feel free to leave them in the comments. And until I see you next time, bye!